was an immigrant as well. 26 years ago, I came as a professional, but I had to go through the same obstacles and experiences that any Latino kid I work with goes through. Once I was able to assimilate and to feel comfortable in my own skin and in St. Louis, the next step was, what can I do to someone who is going through the same obstacles and experiences that I had gone to? One thing led to another, and now I'm the head of the Hispanic Arts Council of St. Louis.
You know, I've known Virginia for over 2 decades, and she is relentless, particularly when it is about the two passions in her life, which is art and education.
I think art as well as education are the two biggest components to build bridges between cultures, to celebrate diversity, and to have a more inclusive St. Louis community. It gives me great satisfaction when I see someone being more independent and being more assimilated, because that empowers people and empowers people to be able to contribute more to the community, to have an education, to have a job.
She has a ton of credibility as a scholar, as a professor, knowing the importance that a sound education foundation will provide not only that single student, but the ripple effect it has on the family and on the community. She knows that. She knows it from personal experience, and she knows it from working in the field.
We have helped at the Hispanic Arts Council over 80 kids to go into college.
To her, reward and recognition is the graduation of a student that she's helped. It is the applause or the smiles of those who get to appreciate, the artistic interpretations that she might be able to provide.
It's great to be able to be part of those projects, because you see real benefit at the end. If it's a free screening or it's a kid going to college, you can see tangible results.
She likes to say that St. Louis picked her, that this was destined for her.
We can do so many things. We can change our community. We can change our society, one life at a time.
I find a lot of joy in trying to find solutions and helping and just trying to do my bit. I don't have to be in charge. If I am in charge, I try to do the best job I can, but I just enjoy the journey.
Ida's always been very civic-minded. She's always been she's always had a strong personality, and she's very serious about citizenship.
St. Louis lets a newcomer into the meeting so that you can have your voice at the table.
She always felt that this was something that people should do. And she always felt comfortable doing it, always felt as though it was a natural part of who she was.
I would really give my mom a lot of credit for that. She did a lot of community service through her sorority. I always admired that, and I attribute anything that I do to my mom's influence.
I think if there was anything that really defined her life, were the years in the junior league. I mean, she really got into the junior league and meant a great deal to her, and she saw it as an opportunity for real leadership.
It just really spoke to me, the mission, volunteerism, helping the community, helping to improve the community. The focus was always on families and children, and it was a launching pad for me.
It meant so much to her to train other women in leadership positions, and so she's really proud of that.
I'm just really proud that I've had the opportunities that I've had.
The work she's done for places like Epworth and Emmaus, Girls Inc., Eden Seminary, those boards that she served on. I'm very proud of the work she's done with Washington University as well.
Washington University has been very, very supportive of everything we've ever attempted to do. And I have had a variety of opportunities to serve there. In 2007, I came to my current position, but I'm also the coordinator for the university's Women's Society.
She's my hero. I mean, I really look up to her. I wish I could be as committed to the kind of civic causes and civic vision that Ida's committed to. I just admire it.
It's possible to make a difference and to have things, when you look into the future or when you've gotten into the future and you look back, to see that things have changed for the better. And I liked being a part of that.
When I was probably about 5 years old, I remember my dad always leaving to go to the office and to this magical place called the hospital. And I really want to go to the hospital, but I know he's going to say no if I ask. And so I just decided to get in the car and I laid down in the back seat. By the time he got to the hospital, I really thought I was going to be in a lot of trouble. And he wasn't angry at all. He took me with him on rounds that day, and so I got to see him going in and meeting with patients and interacting with them. And I realized, what he was doing was really important, and I knew that's what I wanted to do too. Both of my parents, I think, were very inspirational in my volunteering. It seemed that they were all about service to others. One of the first things that I recognized in my training was how important preventive medicine is to everyone's well-being.
Eva's been a member of the Board of Trustees of St. Louis University probably as long as 12 years.
My passion about healthcare initiatives is getting people healthcare and providing them education and access to preventive healthcare.
Eva brings not only her knowledge of medicine, because Eva is a physician and was a practicing physician, but she also brings her commitment. For the last 20 years, sophomore medical students of St. Louis University have run a free health clinic.
They essentially provide health care for patients who don't have insurance and can't afford medical care. I was contacted by the students to see if I could help them find a place in North St. Louis.
We needed a bigger, better place in a better location.
And then I took them to one of our buildings, the Victor Roberts building, and kept my fingers crossed and hoped that they would envision that same space.
We signed a long-term lease with Eva, $1 a year, and basically went in to build out that space. And then Dr. Frazier came up with a great idea that the physicians, the African-American physicians, who were the leaders at the former Homer G. Phillips Hospital, needed to be remembered.
Homer G. Phillips Hospital was actually the place where African-American patients were being seen.
And so in our waiting room, in that facility now, around the wall, there are these large plaques with a photograph and a small biography.
I'm hoping that as people come through that lobby and see those photos, they'll be inspired. Somebody asked me once, why did you become a doctor? And I said, well, I like helping people. And it's just really that simple. I would tell anybody that it doesn't matter what you have to offer, there's a place for you to give. Everybody has that ability to make a difference.
I always loved athletics and played a lot of high school sports, and about the age of mid-40s, my niece came to me and said, why don't we run a marathon? And that's what kind of started me on my journey of endurance sports.
On a typical week, Terry, when she was training for the triathlon, she would run 35 miles, bike 200 miles, swim 10,000 meters. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to get a couple of chemo treatments.
So 2 weeks after I completed my second Ironman, I was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which had already metastasized to my liver. My sisters, 2 weeks after I was diagnosed, both had colonoscopies, and one had precancerous polyps and one was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. So then it became our mission really to spread awareness about colon cancer, because it's the disease, it's the one cancer that nobody wants to talk about.
Terry Grigg is the most extraordinary person I know. She's strong and she's courageous, and she has forever changed the face of how people view someone who's diagnosed with cancer. Cancer picked the wrong person when it messed with Terry.
I sent my story into Ironman, and they chose me to be an inspirational athlete at the World Championship Ironman in Kona, Hawaii. That was what gave me the platform really to begin. And from there, it wasn't something that I was just out looking to do. Then it just pretty much happened.
In trying to raise money for Pedal the Cause, because we both are very passionate about finding new treatments and cures for all cancers, Terry's always been the #1 fundraiser, and I've always been sort of right behind her.
Lisa and I will laugh, okay, because I'll look at her, I'm like, you are going down, Lisa. I am totally going to out-fundraise you.
In this competition, this friendly competition, there's no competition. She's my inspiration. She is my hero.
Here's the secret. The more you give, the more you receive.
Everything that she stands for and everything she does right now in her life is to inspire and to save lives. And that's how she lives every day.
You know, as long as I can keep moving forward and do the things I love to do, I'm going to keep doing it. There's nobody going to stop me.
I've always been interested in health, education, and art. The culture that's available here is unbelievable. The city has been so good to me that anything that I can do to help it, I'm willing to do.
I've known Phyllis about 10 years. I met her through organization work in St. Louis and became fast friends because we share the common goal of helping other people. Fast forward many years, and she's done so many things, and she's done so many committees.
Now I'm on the Contemporary Museums Board, I'm on the Sheldon Art Galleries, I'm on the Sheldon Foundation. I have served on Lohmeyer's board, I've served on the Scholarship Foundation board, so I feel like I'm all over the board, so to speak.
I feel that she has a passion for St. Louis and that she really wants to help other people.
My hope is that everyone will appreciate what we have here, because it takes people, finances, and volunteers.
It's contagious what she does, and people who are with her feel the energy that she has for making a difference in the lives of other people.
I really want to watch these children move up through the educational ladder of the institutions that they're attending, whether it's Craft Alliance or the Contemporary. And several of them have gone on to graduate schools. So it's very warming to know that these boys and girls who have gone through a program that the community supports have continued on.
She just keeps going. She just never stops. She's like that Energizer bunny who never stops.
I make time. I love people. I have good time management. I'm able to put it all together and know what I can do, when I can do it, and so it works.
The St. Louis community benefits because Phyllis Langsdorf lives here.
There's always a place for a volunteer. You can always find a home. All you need to think about is what you like to do, whether it's the arts, or music, or schools, whatever. I just think it's important for all of us to give back.
When I was a little girl, my mother would come to the dinner table, and my father, and they'd say, "What did you do for somebody else today?" And I'd look at them and go, I went to school. I've really been a volunteer in some capacity throughout my life. One of the most fulfilling and rewarding things that I've ever done is work with Doorways that provides housing and supportive services for people affected by HIV and AIDS.
At Doorways, Diane is our board chair. So her job is to not only manage the board and the governance and those aspects of what a board of directors does, but she also rallies the troops. She keeps everyone engaged. She puts people in leadership positions and really inspires the best of people.
One of the things that I really believe in as a theme for me and volunteerism is the grassroots level work.
She can be at a very high level and, chair a board, or she can answer phones on a suicide hotline or a help hotline like she did at St. Louis Effort for AIDS.
It was a very controversial time, and people were extremely afraid of infection. It broke my heart. It broke my heart to see people dying, to see people rejected. So many people were homeless because they were abandoned by families and friends.
Diane is a person that's just full of passion, and she's able to look outside of herself and realize that other people haven't had the same background, education, experiences that she's had, and she uses her own personal blessings to bless other people.
If you are giving back to your community, if you're connecting with people, if you're engaged, you're going to live a better life, you're going to live longer. So it's a little bit self-serving.
She's passionate about helping people. She's passionate about social justice, about youth. There's so many areas of her life that she's passionate about.
Those are things that touch my heart in a profound way. It just feels good to roll up your sleeves, get in the trenches, and find allies and do the work. What I'm most proud of is that my father would be happy with the work I've done. And I know my mother is proud and my family's proud, and that makes me feel very proud.
I don't know how I got that sense that there were some things that were wrong in the world, but as long as I can remember, with my classmates, with my family, with my friends, I'm the person that will speak up when things aren't going the way that they're supposed to, and I want to be that voice for those people that don't have a voice.
Well, I got to know Diane from working with the St. Louis Crisis Nursery, but what I've come to grow and just love about her is it is not easy work. It's not a cakewalk working at the Crisis Nursery. And that she can do that and accomplish that and still have the energy to go on to tackle 2 other vexing problems in our community, domestic violence and homelessness, just blows my mind.
So after being a volunteer at the Crisis Nursery for a number of years, the then executive director position became available, and I threw my name in the ring. A big part of why I was put on this earth, I believe, is to be the leader of that organization.
Diane is a very devout person. She's very spiritual, and I think she utilizes her belief to carry her through some really, really challenging things that I know she sees, and she doesn't always talk about them.
I got a phone call that a whole apartment building was being evicted, and I stopped everything and I got in my car and I drove down, and I worked all day and I worked all night to make sure that those families had a place to go. If I today can help one person know that they're cared about, know that somebody's wrapping their arms around them and giving them hope, then I feel like I am living my purpose.
I think Diane impacts St. Louis by working with individuals at the level where they are in their darkest hour, by helping them find those little shreds of health, of goodness, of something positive.
It's figuring out that day. What can we do that day to make that person's life better?
I think it's just inherent in her being, which is not to say that she doesn't have to probably talk herself into thinking of the positive things when she does see the ugly side of life. I mean, that's the stuff that this woman does.
I do it to give hugs. I do it to be the mother that's there to take care of everybody when their moms can't be there. And that's kind of how I see myself. And I'm committed to it, and I'll do it the rest of my life.
I grew up with a mother who was an incredible role model for volunteering. And the lesson was, you have the opportunity to take advantage of your gifts and pay them forward.
The cancer patients of Missouri could not ask for a better advocate than Joanne Shaw.
I am personally very committed to the 2 organizations, Leukemia and Lymphoma and Conquer Cancer. Our goal is a world without cancer.
What inspires Joanne Shaw, I think, is those less fortunate, those in need. As a 4-time cancer survivor herself, I think she really relates and understands what they're going through and just tries to make it better.
I really don't want to see another child go through a cancer diagnosis. So Conquer Cancer is inspirational to me. We have delivered collectively over 900,000 pillowcases, and will probably reach 1 million sometime in 2014. What we hear from our nurses is that it's a wonderful way to go into a patient's room. These children are scared, they're not feeling well, they're really frightened, and there have been some sad stories, but they're still inspiring. So we've had the call from the parent who said, "My child died, but I buried him with the pillowcase." Or the mother that called and said, "My child's brother and sister sleep with the pillowcase because it reminds them of their brother." So, excuse me, but it's really inspirational.
It's from other cancer patients that she gets her strength.
I'm especially proud that the governor signed SB 668, the oral chemo parity bill.
35% of the cancer treatments right now that we're using and that are in the pipeline don't even have an IV equivalent.
With oral parity, we were simply asking, and the bill does this, the patients now have a choice. And if you have a type of cancer that can be treated with a pill, which targets only the bad cells, you don't lose your hair, you can go to work and feel that you're still contributing to society, which is very important for patients.
This was the message that I think legislators maybe had not heard, and you just want to clarify information for them, so that they can make a better decision. And if you don't make Joanne's decision, she'll be at your door.
No is not an answer. So I feel even more inspired and excited that we are going to have a world without cancer at some point in time. And that's what this is all about.
I love the unconditional love. It wasn't as much, I think it was more of a selfish thing that I wanted to love somebody, and hold on to somebody and take care of them.
Lutheran Family and Children's Services is a nonprofit. We're a full-service agency, even though my heart is with child welfare and with fostering and adoption.
I'd seen someone at my girls' school, my older girls' school, that did foster care, and I woke up and I said, I think I'm going to do this, but I only wanted to do newborns. And it took me about 9 months to get my license, and from there, since then, it's been 18 years. And 59 babies. And they're all becoming of age now. My oldest baby is 18, so they all are, and we're very good friends with that family, and we see him all the time.
She also has been really good about just checking in with them and saying, how's this one doing or how's that one doing? Or I was cleaning out a desk and I found another picture of so-and-so, so, I want to send this off to you.
It usually gives us a 24-hour notice, and we'll either meet her. There's many times that we've switched baby, take the baby from one car to the other in a parking lot. We used to switch babies there all the time. We're sure people thought something really illegal was going on.
When I was doing her home study years ago, she said she's always just had this love for children.
Everyone asks me why and how. And the next biggest question is, how do you give them up? And that is the hardest thing. I think a part of it goes back to my mother, who was adopted. She was put in an orphanage and adopted at the age of 3, and I feel that something comes from that. I'm not sure what.
It's just the way Linda is. I always tease her because with her last name being Linda Share, she shares everything. Not only does she share her heart and home with all of our foster babies, I can call her and say, I have a family that's in great need for whatever. And the next thing I know, it's in my office. So she's just the type of person who wants to give and give and give. We are truly blessed to have her be a part of our agency, a part of our community.
My wish would be for all children to be safe and happy and well taken care of, and have pajamas to wear at night and books read to them and be tucked in, be able to brush their teeth, just have a normal childhood and just have someone that loves them.
I was raised in a family of 5 girls, and it never occurred to me that you couldn't that you can do whatever a boy did. I never felt like women did this and men did that. I just felt like you could do what you want.
Pat's an absolutely remarkable person. She's the chairman of a company she founded. It's one of the most successful design and architectural firms really in the Midwest. And she's done it her own special way. And I think that civic involvement is really part of who she is.
I think it's kind of in my DNA because I started volunteering right when I started my business. I've been on various boards my whole entire career, and it makes you feel really good to give back to the community.
Her commitment to the community, and I will say in particular to the arts, is amazing.
I'm currently chairing the Contemporary Art Museum. One of the things that the Contemporary Art Museum does that people don't know is all their different education programs. And one of them is called New Art in the Neighborhood, and that's really a program for teens. And they learn how to put their portfolio together to get into college. And so far, 100% of them have gone to college.
We are so lucky in St. Louis to have somebody like Pat Whitaker. Can you believe she did dancing with the St. Louis Stars? I mean, that takes a lot of risk, a lot of commitment to the community, and it's sort of what Pat's all about.
The cause is for the Independent Center, which helps people with disabilities get jobs and become assimilated into the community, and they do a fabulous job. And they made a ton of money. I think they made $400,000 that year, and it's just from one gala. I mean, it was really fun, and I don't know if I would do that again, but I help them recruit other dancers now.
Pat's a very balanced person, committed to her business, involved in the community, but also she's committed to personal health and well-being, not only for herself, but everybody around her.
Last year I chaired the Go Red for Women event for the American Heart Association, and so our whole job there is to raise awareness, which we do through education and through this huge fundraising event we have every year, which we raised $750,000 in 2013.
For me, she's just a good role model of how to be successful in life, but wear that success very loosely. And I think her kindness and her ability to be generous of spirit, she's had a real dramatic impact on my life, and I'm just honored to count her as a personal friend.
You need to give back to the community that created an environment in which you could succeed. So I've kind of always lived by that.